This keeps going on. I'm warning that there's going to be a false flag attack, another 9/11 that's going to unite the people to support this war. It's going to happen in Europe. It's going to happen in America. And you're seeing all the stuff, the anti-Muslim, anti-Islamic stuff coming out. Get ready for the 9th crusade. That's what they're going to turn it into, and the people will buy it. Watch out for the false flag. That's my greatest concern. They did it before. They'll do it again. Little Georgie Bush was way down in the polls. The NASDAQ was down 80%, lost its value after the dot-com bust. 9/11 happened. 90% of the people swallowed the crap, spewing out of that little boy's mouth. We're going to get that guy Osama bin Laden dead or alive. Longest war in American history, the Afghan War.
Yeah, you're right about all this, Charlie.
Se on se jenkkiläinen ekonomi toi Gerald Celente, ja hän siis ennusti tuossa, että kuulemma Eurooppaan ja Jenkkeihin tulisi jonkinnäköinen false flag-isku tässä lähiaikoina. Ja jos semmoinen tapahtuu, niin se senhän tarkoituksena on saada julkinen hyväksyntä sekä Euroopan että USA armeijan hyökkäykselle Lähi-Itään eli Iraniin. Ja sitten tosiaan tuossa Jenkkilän taloudessa, BlackRockissa, niin on nyt semmoinen tilanne, että siellä siis käytännössä BlackRockin sijoitusyhtiö estää nyt asiakkaitaan nostamasta varoja ulos. Että se on 5% nostot rajoitettu siihen 5%. Ja toi nyt viestii siitä, että siellä pankkijärjestelmässä niin se on jonkunnäköinen konkurssi nyt luvassa. Että siellä on BlackRockin sijoittajat yrittänyt nostaa $1.2 miljardia. Sen 26 miljardin dollarin luoton rahoista, ja sitten BlackRock on rajoittanut 5% nämä nostot. Et se on silloin merkki siitä, että romahdus on edessä käytännössä. Sitten Jenkeissä kanssa on osoitettu mieltä Epsteinin tiedostoista. Sitten Espanjassa on myös maanviljelijät pitänyt isoja protesteja.
Budget flight to Dubai, about $150, a bed in a hostel, and $25 a night. Let's stay 4 nights. Pick something in downtown so you can take those luxury lifestyle shots. Photo at Burj Khalifa, free. Photo with a Lamborghini, $3 for 5 minutes. 1 day in a fancy beach club, $30. That's where you'll need to film as much content as possible for the next month. Dinner at a luxury restaurant, $80 a total, just order water and tea. Boat ride through the Dubai Marina, $10. Food and metro for the rest of the trip, around $100. Done. You're ready to sell your crypto success masterclass for $499. That's how fake gurus are made. Never trust influencers who sell you dreams. Protect your money. Think for yourself. And never buy trading courses. I spent months and thousands creating a free crypto documentary to help beginners start from zero.
in the history of the world. Yeah, so we've heard. Can we have healthcare? No, that would never work. Can we have amazing news, everyone? We are the richest country in the history of the world. Yeah, so we've heard. Can we have healthcare? No, that would never work. Can we have affordable housing? Why would we do that when there's private equity? What about public transportation? Well, think of the auto industry. Come on. Can we have childcare and parental leave? No, we're gonna need you to get back to work. Can we take care of our planet? Stop. Don't let the guys from Big Oil hear, okay? You'll hurt their feelings. Can we raise the minimum wage? You already get $7 an hour. Don't be so greedy. Can we make college accessible? Well, then how would we even keep you in debt? Thing. Sorry. So what can we have? War. We can always afford war. It's kind of our thing.
Semmoinenhan se Amerikka kyllä on. Se on ihan totta. Sitten toista näkyy Aasiassa ravintoloita, jotka vannaa sieltä israelilaiset asiakkaat.
Quite heavily on. We're seeing the whole Trump clan there. Now, pretty much all of them, apart from Ivanka, Don father lent quite heavily on. We're seeing the whole Trump clan there. Now, pretty much all of them, apart from...
Tuossa on tuo vapaamuurari käsimerkki, mitä ne aina tekee. Tällainen. Sitten siellä on joku matkustaja vähän riihnut lennolla tuolla.
My God. Sit down. Don't move.
How people still think this is art. Look at this, a cult circle. They're performing a live ritual with demons. You can see it in their body structures, all the features. They look like masks, they look like costumes, but no, they're showing their true face. And you, follower of fads, follower of trends, you're just being sucked into this whole demonic show where pseudo-fashion designers play at being artists and mock you to your face, creating these grotesque and satanic images where the vast majority of these beings are male, destroying everything that is femininity. Cult, even if you don't speak English, just add an O and you'll understand it. We need to stop the nonsense of thinking these are just acrylic pieces, that it's made.
Kyllähän tuosta huomaa, että muotiteollisuus on aika satanistinen.
To bomb the plane, Southwest flight 2094 diverted to Atlanta due to security threat, passengers detained. And again, does that go towards the terror attacks, which they won't even need to stage false flags? I don't think this was a false flag last Saturday here in Austin, where the Islamists just went and, shot, killed 3 people. He died and 15 others got wounded. And the media tried to cover up that it was a jihadist. Panic as Southwest flight diverted for security threat amid Iran fears. Let's go ahead and play the raw video of that. Here it is.
Allah Akbar! Allah Akbar! Allah Akbar! My God. Sit down. Don't move. Has he got anything on him? Careful, just be careful, be careful. Sit down. Okay. All right? Mate, has he got a phone in it? I don't know. Is that his phone? It's not mine. That's my phone, my phone.
Where's he sitting?
Is that your phone?
Yeah, my phone.
Have you got anything on you? Have you got anything on you?
No.
Why are you doing that?
I am doing it.
Check his pockets. How long
We'll be landing shortly, so if you ask our passengers to return to their seats, fasten your seatbelts, put the window blinds armrest down,
Where's your bag?
and tray tables.
Where are you sitting? Where's your seat? Is there anything in your bag? Is there anything in your bag?
9 years ago, We were the first and still the only sub of a company.
Kummasti rauhoittui tuossa. Painettiin lentokoneen lattiaan. Eli sitten tuolla Nykissä on tapahtunut tämmöinen, että siis New Yorkin pormestari, tämä Zohran Mandani, hänen asunnon edustalleen laitettiin tämmöinen pommin näköinen esine ihan vastikään. Sitten tuossa on 2 pääepäilyä, jotka poliisi niputtaa tuossa. Että onkohan Mossadilla töissä. Tietysti jos on, niin silloinhan ne lähetetään vaan lentokoneeseen Tel Avivin lennolle. Toisaaltahan jos niitä false flaggeja lähtisi niin kuin ennustamaan, niin kyllä todennäköisesti New York on varmaan se kohde, jos sellainen tullaan tekemään. Koska siis silloin kun 911 siellä tehtiin 2001, niin siellä oli semmoinen nelikko näitä israelilaisia ukkoja kameroiden kanssa kuvasivat näitä kaksoistorneja, kun ne romahti niillä kuin tanssimaan siellä ja juhlimaan. Nykin poliisi otti ukot kiinni siinä ja se kävikin ilmi, että on Mossadin töissä. Ja jouduttiin toimittaa sitten läheiselle lentoasemalle. Ei pidätystä sen jälkeen ollenkaan.
Who were the dancing Israelis of 9/11 and why, 24 years later, do people think the Jews did it? If you've never heard of the dancing Israelis conspiracy theory, let me fill you in. In the years since 9/11, dozens of theories have bounced around the internet, blaming different groups for the attacks of September 11th. But the one that's really stuck? The one that's blaming the Jews. But where did this particular theory come from? It all started with a tip. On the morning of September 11th, after the planes had hit the towers, a New Jersey housewife looked out of her window to see 5 men standing on a van on the cliffside overlooking the Manhattan skyline and the Twin Towers. She called the police to report them, claiming they seemed suspicious. The 5 men, who happened to be Israeli, were arrested later that day by the FBI after the housewife's tip-off.
Israelilaisia miehiä pakettiauton vieressä kuvaamassa sortuvia kaksoistorneja New Yorkissa 11.9.2001.
After weeks of interrogation, the men all signed documents admitting that they'd overstayed their visa and they were deported back to Israel. A report by the FBI cleared their names later that year. According to the FBI, none of the men had any advanced knowledge of the attacks and none of them were involved in illegal surveillance activity on behalf of Israel or any other government. So where did the idea of the dancing Israelis come from? In a 2004 USA Today article, the father of Mohammed Atta, one of the 9/11 hijackers, alleged that there were Jews dancing and celebrating the attacks, a fact that he couldn't be aware of given he was thousands of miles away when the attacks took place. This was one of several theories popularized in the Arab world in the 2000s after the attacks, a place where incidentally there was celebration and dancing after the events of 9/11. Fueled by the fact that in the wake of 9/11, the FBI rounded up thousands of men from all over the world, 100 of whom happened to be Israeli and were no longer charged, it snowballed around the anti-Semitic parts of the internet to become a theory that is referenced time and time again, especially on places like Twitter.
Paitsi, että se ei ollut teoria, sille oli ihan silminnäkijä.
This violence we've seen is a part of a few people trying to stop the progress toward democracy. Fallujah, and our troops are taking care of business. But that PDB said nothing about an attack on America. It talked about, as you might recall, there were some specific threats for overseas that we reacted to. And as the president, I wanted to know whether there was anything, any actionable intelligence. See, to analyze the data to tell me whether or not we faced a threat internally, like
be gone. The translation would be gone.
Then I had to start all over again and retranslate the same document. And I went to my supervisor and he said, consider it a lesson and don't talk about it to anybody else and don't mention it.
What's the lesson?
The lesson was don't do these translations. Go out and spend 2 hours, lunch breaks, don't go and get coffee downstairs, go 8 blocks away, just chat with your friends. But don't do the work and this is our chance to increase the number of people here in this department.
I call upon all nations to do everything they can to stop these terrorist killers. Thank you. Now watch this drive. Some people call you the elite. I call you my base. All right, we need another.
Why would Israelis spy in and on the U.S.? A General Accounting Office investigation referred to Israel as Country A and said, quote, according to a U.S. intelligence agency, the government of Country A conducts the most aggressive espionage operation against the U.S. of any U.S. ally. The Israelis are motivated by strong survival instincts, which dictate every facet of their political and economic policies. It aggressively collects military and industrial technology, and the U.S. is a high priority target.
We're just going by, they seem to think that they have on a primary radar, they seem to think that he is descending. Yeah.
Of what they may call jihad or holy war.
At least some of the people there today tried to shift the blame for the bombing away from the Palestinian suspects in custody, Mohammed Salameh and Nidal Ayad, and turn the blame to Israel. This paper handed out at the rally claims Salameh rented the van of death to do work for an Israeli Secret Service agent.
There is no God but Allah. There is no God but Allah. Muhammad is his messenger. Muhammad is his messenger.
أي حياة سوف أعيشها بعد أن أصبح الجندي الأمريكي يدافع عني. ولا شك أن الكفر ملة واحدة، ولكن عدونا اليوم هو هبل العصر الذي أصبح معبودا لحكام العرب من غير الله وهو
alliance with Abdul Rasul Sayyaf. Later that year, he formed a working relationship with Osama bin Laden, who had settled there.
Total has now run.
Niin ja sitten Thaimaassa on kuulemma bensiini alkamassa loppumaan teille.
Since the war started a couple days ago, Total has now run out of gas. Like every gas station is closed. Oh my god. Like
Siellä on Thaimaassa suljettuja bensa-asemia.
usually they sell glass bottles with petrol in small shops and stuff, but I've looked everywhere and there's nothing to be found. So, and I'm leaving tomorrow, so I hope the ferry goes.
Niin ja tosiaan Oslossahan oli siis Jenkkilän suurlähetystössä jonkinnäköinen pommi-isku väittelet, että tässä vuorokausi sitten. Tässä on sitten Israelista jostain päin kuva.
الظاهر في قنبلة فجرت في قدام بتاع كندون السيارة
ده كلها السيارة ممكن معبية سلاح ولا معبية فيها قنابل فيها كل مش عارف. المهم ده كلها الحياة اللي جات هنا قدامك بتاعت دول سيارة الرايس ده.
Sitten toi on Teheranista.
خليه ادرينالين مش يعني خالص.
Sitten tämä on muuten jännä juttu. Että siis tämä, mitä tuossa nyt, mikä maa tämä nyt oli, mistä tämä tapahtui. Dubaissa siis oli tämmöinen lennokki, drone oli ammuttu siis lentokentälle ihan muutama vuorokausi sitten. Niin nyt en kyllä valehtele, mutta siis vuorokaus ennen tätä, kun tämä drone osui tuonne lentokentälle Dubaissa, niin mä näin oikeasti sellaisen unen, missä suihkukone osui tämmöiselle matalalle lentokentälle. En tiedä, oliko ennen uni tähän liittyen, mutta tietenkin tämä on ollut semmoinen kauko-ohjattava drone, mikä sinne on iskeytynyt luultavasti. Kuulee tuosta moottoriäänestä.
Ya Rab, straight to the aircraft. Straight to... ya Allah. Did it hit the aircraft? No, it hit next to us here actually. Yeah. Ya Allah, straight to the airport.
Mutta tämä on siis ihan käsittämätöntä, että nyt täällä on niin kuin ydinaseita ollaan tuomassa Suomeen. Ensin tehdään laki, että niitä saa tuoda Suomeen, ja sitten ne kokoomuspellit valehtelee, että ei tänne mitään ydinaseita olla tuomassa. Että niin kuin Orpo tuossa valehteli äsken. Mutta siinä on se, että jos on sodan vastainen, niin ei silloin ole kummallakaan puolella. Se on vaan tämmöinen ihminen, joka sotakiihkoilee, niin se ei näe tämmöistä asiaa kuin sodan vastaisuus. Se ei voi ymmärtää sellaista asiaa ollenkaan. Jos katsotaan meidän mediaakin tällä hetkellä, niin sehän lietsoo tuota sotakiihkoa ihan 24/7. Ja sitten tässä näkyy Dubaissa, että miltä näyttää ostoskeskus tämmöisen hyökkäyksen jälkeen. Hyvinkö käy business?
So this is the situation inside the Marina Mall in Dubai. Very quiet, as you can see. Not many people downstairs either. Very few people. And let's see Sephora. You usually have to fight to get inside Sephora. And the security guard is there. I don't know what he's doing today. Security guard. Oh, no, just stop. Nobody inside Sephora. And this is another lockdown for sure. So this is the
No toi nyt ei ole mitään uutta, että on Emmakaulassa satanistinen pukeutuminen, mutta siitä muuten Emmakaulasta mieleen, niin katsokaa minkä muotoinen se Emma patsas ylipäänsä on. Siinähän on niin kuin pirusarvet tavallaan tässä patsassa. Tämähän on tämmöinen niin kuin okkultistinen patsas jo itsessään. Et siis tavallaan niin kuin tossahan sen huomaa, että toi Emma Gaala, niin sehän on periaatteessa Se on periaatteessa tavallaan niin semmoinen palkitsemistilaisuus, missä nämä sielunsa saatanalle myyneet artistit palkitsee toisiaan. Sitten semmoiseen tapahtumaanhan ei yleensä pääse kukaan, joka ei ole tehnyt sopimusta pirun kanssa. Senhän takia tommoset sarvet siinä patsassa onkin. Ei itse mitään sattumaa, että siinä tommoset pirun sarvet tuossa emopatsassa.
To you. For decades, each generation in America lived better than the one before. Bigger houses, more opportunity, actual upward mobility. Although things took a wild turn, the people in power realized they can't sustain that anymore without giving up their own wealth. So instead of raising your standard of living, they're just lowering your expectations. Now they're telling you it's normal to have roommates at 30. It's normal to never own a home. It's normal to work 2 jobs. It's normal to delay having kids because you can't afford them. They're redefining poverty as the new normal and calling you entitled if you want what your parents had. And here's the part they're betting on. If they can convince you that struggle is just how life is now, you'll stop fighting for better. You'll accept less. You'll be grateful for crumbs. And anybody who understands social engineering knows the best way to control people is to make them believe their oppression is inevitable. So they're normalizing your decline, celebrating tiny apartments, romanticizing the side hustle grind, making you feel lucky to survive. You're not asking for too much. They're just taking everything. We may not see each other again, so make sure to follow this page.
Se on joku tehnyt AI vähän paradia Trumpista.
You're right now not in a very good position.
Yeah.
You're
It's gonna be
gambling
very
with
hard
lives
thing to
of
do
millions of
business
people.
like this.
You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III. For the American people to see what's going on. You're right now not in a very good position.
Yeah.
You're
It's gonna be
gambling
very
with
hard.
Crazy. Where will all these people go? That's the question someone asked after posting this list of the 2026 layoffs so far. US government, 317,000 jobs. Amazon, 30,000 jobs. Microsoft, Ford, Starbucks, and
Siellä on massiivisia YT-neuvotteluita näissä teknologiajätteen korporaatioissa tällä hetkellä.
Block just announced half of their company gone, all due to AI. That's not a slow shift, that's a wave. I've been laid off twice. The latest was in 2023, and it honestly broke something in me for a minute. Good title, stable company, gone overnight. And at the time, AI felt like a future problem. It's not a future problem anymore. I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm saying it because I genuinely wish someone had shaken me awake sooner. One of the most dangerous places to be right now is fully dependent on one company's budget decisions. The people who are going to be okay aren't necessarily the ones who find another corporate job faster. They're the ones who start building something they actually own, something that no one can take away from them. You don't have to have it all figured out, but if this list made your stomach drop, even just a little, that feeling is information. Please don't ignore it.
Mutta tuossa on vaan se, että kun Amerikassa ihmiset elää velaksi, no aina elänyt velaksi siellä. Ja sitten se, että kun siellä on nyt niin massiivisesti työttömyys noussut, erityisesti tumman väestön työttömyys, niin siinä tulee vielä se tilanne, että siellä on niin paljon työttömiä ja niillä ei riitä enää yksinkertaisesti. Niillä ei riitä rahat. Ja sen takia ne lainat, mitä Amerikassa normaalilla työssä käyvällä ihmisillä on, niin se tulee aikamoinen romahdus. Käytännössä siis muutamia pankkejakin voi sortua tuon myötä käytännössä. Jälki tulee olemaan aikamoista. Sitten oli USA-kongressissa tällainen USA-armeija, onko tämä nyt merijalkaväemies, se oli huutanut julkisesti, että hän ei lähde kuolemaan mikään Israelin puolesta. Voimakeino oli poistettu sieltä kongressisalista.
No one wants to fight for Israel!
His hand, his hand! Oh, his hand!
Siinä muuten meni käsi poikki, kuulukin kun rutsi.
His hand, his hand! Oh, his hand!
Let go of your hand. Let go of the door. Only go of the door.
The senator broke his hand. A sitting U.S. senator just broke the hand of a Marine.
Sir. Okay.
Control your Senate.
We're stuck in the door. Okay, sir.
A U.S. senator just broke the hand of a Marine.
Hands stuck.
A U.S. senator just broke the hand of a Marine. You're a coward. What do you say? Senator? Go fuck yourself. You're a shit seal. That's why you got kicked out, fat ass.
Everybody sit down, please. Sit down, please. Everybody sit down, please. Everybody sit down, please.
I'm getting out of here.
That's fine. Everybody sit down, please.
Is your hand okay?
Okay. No, it's not.
This is disgusting. Disgusting.
Just pull it
This is
out.
disgusting.
Started. It's fucking started. I fucking hate human beings, mate.
Britanniassa ihmiset vähän panikoi tuosta bensan hinnan tulevasta noususta.
What is wrong with people? Oh no.
Tämä on sitten kuulemma teloavivista.
Continuez ces photographes.
كيف الطيارة يا جماعة؟ يجوا اليوم.
Pyramideista voisi tehdäkin jakson. Se olisi paljon mielenkiintoisempaa olisi käydä paikan päällä tsekkaamassa niitä tuolla Egyptissä. Kun siis ne pyramidithan käytännössä, niin nehän siis oli tavallaan itse asiassa niitä hyvin kauan aikojen rakennettuja, vähän niin kuin ydinvoimaloita. Mutta siis se tekniikka, mikä niissä aikanaan toimi, niin ei tietenkään ollut mikään sähköydinreaktori. Että siellä ei välttämättä mitään radioaktiivista plutoniumia ole ollut. Kyllä sen kokoisia kiven murikoita niin kuin näkyy tuossa, niin kyllä se vähän niin kuin ihmetyttää, että miten ton kokoisia kiven myrkkylöitä on pystytty mukamas ihmiset kasaamaan. Kun monethan väittää, että se olisi vähän humanoidalta tullut apua noihin rakennushommiin silloin aikana. Ja sitten vielä sekin, että näitä pyramideja, niin näitähän on myös muuallakin kuin Egyptissä. Että niitä muun muassa Sarajevossa, siis maan alta paikannettu. Et muun muassa Bosniasta löytyy Sarajevosta tämän näköinen pyramidi. Et siellä on ihan nyt tunneleet löydetty. Ja Sarajevossa itse asiassa saa tämmöisen turistioppaankin vielä 20 eurossa niin päiväksi.
The ancient Egyptians knew it. The ancient Mesopotamians knew it. They knew it. They knew that the civilizations that had pre-existed them, specifically the civilizations from before the Great Cataclysm, from before the flood, were superior to their own. They acknowledged them as such. And this is what I'm trying to illustrate, is all over the world you have the fingerprints in the megaliths, you have the fingerprints of an advanced lost civilization. And it's ubiquitous. Cyclopean architecture is ubiquitous all over the earth. It's not that the Inca over here developed their, megalith building technique and the guys who built Baalbek developed a different.
Juu, se on ihan totta, että Bosnian pyramidissa on kuulemma semmoinen hyvin korkea energia. Olen kanssa kuullut monilta, jotka on käynyt sinne.
Thank
ulaziti u tunele, čovjek koji je razvio računate kasnog upušta i mnogo je poznatiji u industriji, takozvanoj gaming industriji, znači industriji video igara. On nam je dao svu svoju podršku, mi smo sa njima
have several triangular anomalies that are present in Bosnia that exhibit both textural, geomorphologic, and thermal anomalies. And as such, with the lack of other processes that would affect their existence, we consider them to be anthropogenic structures.
Now there is a great excitement about the whole issue. Now behind me is the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun, which is the highest known pyramid. with a height of 220 meters. It's about 80 meters higher than the Great Pyramid in Egypt. Last year, when we first put the idea about the pyramids, the first time when we mentioned the hypothesis of the pyramids, it was so exciting because not only that we do have the pyramids in Europe, in the middle of Bosnia, but because of their colossal size, they are going to cause the revolutionary earthquake in archaeological circles in Europe and in the world.
One? No, it's the same. It's the same cyclopean architecture.
I want
They're
the answer
working
to
with
be
the same
yes,
knowledge.
right, to this
If you
question.
ask a Quechua person, and the Quechuan people are the native people who live in the Andes. If you ask a Quechua person, one who hasn't been modernized, one who still keeps the old ways and the old traditions, who built these walls?
Yeah.
Sacsayhuaman. Who built those walls? You know what they'll tell you? An ancient race of giants.
Probably not translating on camera, but for everyone watching this right now, it is very tight. Going down, down, down into the pyramid.
By the way, similar in the Great Pyramid going down to the
Joo, voimalaitoksia ne on ollut. Siinä on se, että se energialähde, mikä niissä on aikanaan ollut käytössä, ei ole tällä hetkellä kytketty, koska se on ollut aika korkeata energiaa, mikä niissä on ollut. Siis silloin hyvin kauan aikaa sitten käytössä.
Oh yeah, it's pretty crazy. There you can see me. That's how tight it is. Look at this. It's like a mine shaft or something, you know, like. Oh my god. I'm waiting for Timothy. Gives me an excuse to catch my breath waiting for Oh, we are deep into this pyramid, going straight down, straight down. It's like a rope ladder. Yeah. Oh, this is crazy. This is crazy. I swear, if Timothy fell, it'd be like a bowling ball. We'd all be the pins. We'd all go flying. And now we're going up. All right. We're about halfway up.
It looks like a regular day. Now do a slow pan around, and then reveal where I'm at, Jazz. Reveal where I'm at. You see what I'm saying? Notice how I knew to keep my face in the sun. You get the shot. Now go spin around me, Jazz. Spin like go fast around. You're not going fast enough around me. Faster, Jazz. Yes. Hold on, Jazz. Keep going.
We're in October with Adept Expeditions as run by NEXT, and this is going to be a very special tour in that we're really only doing pyramids plus the Grand Egyptian Museum. We're going to be going into, it's pretty much entirely special permissions. So we're going to a bunch of places. We're going to see a bunch of pyramids inside that no tour group's ever gone into before. And so I'm really excited about that. And, you know, I sort of always see these opportunities to do something very special like that as sort of, you know, I always try to tie that into my work where it's like, this is going to be a real opportunity to take photos and see evidence that hasn't been able to be scrutinized as closely ever before. And so it's, you know, part of it's like a tour and part of it's like, you know, like a research project for me. And I think that's going to be a really special thing.
Yeah, that's exciting. For sure. That's more than all the pyramids in Egypt, even more than the famous Great Pyramid of Giza. But you rarely see them in documentaries. No massive tourism, no global spotlight. These pyramids were built by the Kingdom of Kush, a civilization powerful enough to rule Egypt at one point. So why does almost no one talk about them? If Sudan has more pyramids, why were we only taught about Egypt? Sudan has more pyramids than Egypt. The Nubian pyramids number over 200. That's more.
Sudanistakin löytyy tämmöisiä pieniä pyramideja. Ei ole tullut käynyt. Niin, ja tuossa väitetään, että tässä olisi niin Marsin pinnalla otetut valokuvat, ja että sen Marsissakin olisi sulla jonkinnäköisiä pyramideja aikana.
Real answer. Number 1, why pyramids? Why not circles? Because the pyramid wasn't a shape, it was a story. The Egyptians believed the first land rose from the water as a mound. They called it the Ben. Every pyramid is a copy of that moment. They weren't building tombs, they were building the beginning of the world. Number 2, why did pharaohs marry their sisters? Because the pharaoh wasn't a man, he was a god. Osiris and Isis, the two greatest gods, were brother and sister, and husband and wife. The pharaoh was copying them, keeping the bloodline divine. It wasn't strange, it was sacred. Number 3, why were they the strongest civilization? Because they lasted 3,000 years. Rome lasted 500, the British Empire 400. Egypt outlasted them all, combined. Other civilizations were powerful, Egypt was permanent. 3 things everyone wants to know about.
what they thought was a volcano in the 30s. And he thought, hey, that's somebody built that. Wait a minute, there's 4 by 8 foot bricks. That's man-made. And it is literally the biggest pyramid in the world. It's bigger than the ones in Egypt, and it's in Guatemala. Maybe 20 years ago, I visited. All the pyramids in Tikal would fit inside the one big pyramid in El Mirador. Really? Yeah, it's a monster. And so that tells you that the pre-classic civilization was bigger and grander and more sophisticated than the civilizations that came after it.
Jamie, pull up an image of it. It's very strange.
Somebody was flying by what they thought was
In 2011, Arthur Zhemukov, who is a Russian speleologist, which is the scientific study and exploration of caves, made an astonishing discovery at the Kara Hora mountain peak, one which would completely shatter our understanding of ancient human history. There, he found a deep, narrow vertical shaft, seemingly swallowed by the earth itself. It was made of parallel stone slabs that seemed perfectly geometrical, as if they were artificially made. Zhemukov and his team decided to venture deeper, and what they discovered within the shaft was nothing short of extraordinary. The walls were straight and polished, extending 40 meters or 130 feet deep into the mountain, before opening into a wide underground hall with a height of 36 meters, about 118 feet. The straight walls of this shaft were constructed from large megalithic blocks that fitted together at right angles with minimal gaps. There were even large stones that looked like columns. Overall, the explored dimensions of the shaft, from the upper part all the way to the lower platform, span more than 100 meters, around 350 feet. Artur Zhemukov and his team were completely stunned. They concluded that whatever this prehistoric structure was, it was undoubtedly an artificial construction of an enormous scale. They found perfectly straight and polished narrow walls that go 40 meters deep into the mountain. Arthur Zhemukov noted that the polished walls made of megalithic blocks were very similar to those found at the shafts of the Egyptian pyramids. Precisely the Grand Gallery at the Pyramid of Khufu, the blocks of which are approximately the same size. And like the advanced ancient structures of Egypt, this ancient gallery also most likely served some kind of advanced technological function and was probably part of a larger structure. It took more than an hour for the expedition to even reach the bottom of the structure, which requires extensive climbing experience and endurance. And it's believed that there are additional chambers and channels that go much deeper underground, which are still undiscovered. Due to the colossal size of the underground shaft, only a small part of it is explored. The climbers advanced 100 meters deeper, and they ran into narrow passages in which they couldn't enter. The team concluded that this structure, whatever it was indeed man-made, as there were no analogs anywhere among other cave systems in the world, especially caves possessing polished flat parallel walls, rectangular blocks with straight edges, the presence of what seemed like a solution between the perfect fittings of the blocks and the absence of oblique cracks characteristic of tuff. But how is this possible? How could gigantic 200-ton perfectly flat stone blocks be assembled with such precision into such a narrow shaft deep underground?
Siinäpä kysymys.
What kind of technology was used for the construction of the Karahora shaft? Additional expeditions inside the shaft were made by Vadim Chernobrov, head of the Kosmopoisk, which is an organization that researches different anomalies in Russia. Vadim and his team, together with Arthur Zhemukov, climbed inside the shaft and filmed the experience for a documentary featured on Russian TV. Chernobrov even mapped the discovered parts of the shaft, carefully measuring the dimensions and scale of the site. Here is a photo of the map made by Chernobrov. As you can see, this does not look like any other known cave anywhere in the world. And here we can see a 3D demonstration of the shaft from the channel of Vladislav's Guska, where the site is placed next to a Soviet space rocket. It certainly looks more like an artificial structure rather than a natural cave. Moreover, who knows how deep it actually goes and what else is hiding underground? But if this is an advanced prehistoric man-made construction, what was its purpose? There were various theories. According to Vadim Chernobrov, this was a man-made structure which was not intended for human habitation due to the narrow passages, where even a child cannot squeeze through, together with the numerous tiny holes where a human hand can hardly fit. He noted that each such mini cavity goes far into the depths where even the lights from the flashlights do not reach the bottom.
Mutta mitkähän humanoidit on rakentanut, jos ei ihminen mahdu sinne eikä lapsi?
This led him to believe that this structure had a technological purpose. He noted that the mysterious cavities inside the Egyptian pyramids, which he visited numerous times, were also not intended for the movement of people and served some kind of technological purpose, just like the Korahora shaft. The sophisticated shafts we find in Egypt also lead deep underground, and they often lead to chambers with unknown purposes. No one knows what they were used for, but they're clearly not meant to be traversed by humans, as there are no ladders, stairs, or any other method to climb inside them. There are no burn marks on the walls from torchlights, meaning there wasn't any visibility inside, and there aren't any hieroglyphs, artifacts, or anything else that can indicate human presence or a cultural and religious purpose. It seemed the intent of these systems was purely practical, yet unknown to us. Vadim Chernobrov could only speculate, saying it could have been some kind of plant, a part of an advanced ancient factory or some kind of resonator. He said it could be a device for seismological research or even an ancient energy generator. Other researchers brought different theories, believing this was the underground part of a long-lost pyramid that once stood on the surface of the mountain, which is now long gone. Climbers who went inside believed the place served some sort of ventilation purpose, as they noted that there was a constant flow of air circulating and coming from beneath. Despite all the different theories, everyone who climbed inside the cave agreed that this structure, whatever it was certainly artificially created. But if this really was part of an advanced underground complex built by a prehistoric civilization, how is it possible that no one had ever heard anything about such civilization in the region? Well, the thing is, there were certain people who knew about the underground structure, many decades before Arthur Zhemukov actually discovered it. In fact, Arthur Zhemukov didn't discover the shaft by pure luck or accident. He had been searching for it for many years. Zhemukov was studying the documents and traces left by the Nazi Germans during World War II. Hitler, along with several other high-ranking Nazi officials, was deeply influenced by the occult. These beliefs were intertwined with the ideology of the Thule Society, an esoteric group that sought to explore and revive ancient Aryan traditions. Heinrich Himmler, head of the SS, was particularly obsessed with these ideas and established the Ahnenerbe, an institute dedicated to researching the ancestral heritage and occult practices of the Aryan race. The Ahnenerbe, officially known as the Research and Teaching Society for Ancestral Heritage, conducted numerous expeditions to various parts of the world, including Tibet, in search of a mythical underground city known as Shambhala.
Juu, onhan se maailman luotu monta kertaa. Niin kuin nämä Intianin perinteet kertoo. Siis käytännössä nämä pyramidithan on niin kuin ikivanhoja voimalaitoksia, mitkä ei ole toiminnassa.
This search was driven by the belief that Shambhala held mystical powers and advanced ancient technology that could be harnessed to further Nazi ambitions. Additionally, they sought to find connections with the Aryan race, hoping to legitimize their racial theories and propaganda. In 1938 to 1939, an expedition led by SS officer Ernst Schaefer was sent to Tibet under the guise of scientific research. While the primary stated goals were anthropological and botanical studies, there was a covert mission to investigate the myths of Shambhala and uncover any potential ancient knowledge or artifacts that could aid the Nazi cause. In the summer of 1942, the German military launched Operation Edelweiss, a major offensive aimed at capturing the oil-rich regions of the Caucasus, particularly the Baku oil fields in Azerbaijan. Securing these resources was crucial for the German war effort, as oil was essential for fueling the Wehrmacht's operations. The offensive was part of a broader strategy to deprive the Soviet Union of its vital resources and to gain a strategic foothold in the region. Beyond the immediate military objectives, the Nazis harbored ideological interests in the Caucasus. The Nazi occult organizations and members of the Ahnenerbe believed that the region could hold clues to the origins of the Aryan race. They speculated that ancient Aryan civilizations have once thrived in the Caucasus, leaving behind traces of their advanced knowledge and culture, including vast underground cities. It appears that the Germans were very close to discovering the Kara Hora underground shaft, as in very close proximity to the entrance of the shaft, on top of the mountain, there was a swastika carved on a boulder by the Germans. Perhaps the swastika was left as an identification mark by the Nazi researchers who knew they were very close to discovering the underground city of the Aryans. What's even stranger was that a more ancient swastika carving was also found in the region, one which has nothing to do with the Germans. Could this swastika have been left by the advanced ancient civilization that constructed the Kara Hora shaft? Were the Nazis emulating these people with their swastika and ideology?
Mutta toisaalta sitten se swastika, niin sehän on siis vanha symboli, että natsit vaan omi sen itsellensä. Että sen muinainen merkitys oli monissa kulttuureissa muun muassa symboloida aurinkoa, kosmista liikettä, onnea, hyvää tuuria, elämän kiertokulkua, ikuisuutta, tasapainoa ja harmoniaa. Sitä swastikaa on käytetty hindu-uskonnossa pyhän onnen ja hyvän symbolina. Buddhalaisuudessa symboloinut Buddhan opetuksia ja hyvää onnea. Ja sitten muinaisessa Kreikassa ja muinaisessa Roomassa myös käytännössä käytettiin swastikaa. Et tietenkin tässä meidän lännen historiassa niin se on sitten natsi-Saksan symbolina edelleen muistettu. Et siinä niin kuin näkee tavallaan, että sitä historiaa vääristellään niin omalla tavalla. Tuosta löytyy tuo video, tuosta linkistä. Mutta kato, siinä on se, että toi Lähi-idän homma, eli jos tämä nyt on 3. maailmansota, jos tässä nyt sellainen syttyy, siis se on suunniteltu etukäteen. Ja siinä on sellainenkin suunnitelma vielä, että ihan niin kuin silloin viime striimissä näytin sen Giuseppe Mazzinin, eli se Illuminati suurmestari 1800-luvun lopulla, kirjoitti ne semmoiset kirjeet, tai siis semmoisen kirjeen tälle Albert Pikeille, joka oli kanssa suurmestari. Hän kuvaili siellä ne 3 maailmansotaa. Siis 1800-luvun lopullahan niitä 3 maailmansotaa ei oltu käyty vielä. Niin siinä kirjassa hän siis nimenomaan ennusti ja kuvaili, että millaista 3 maailmansotaa tulee olemaan Hamassa tulevaisuudessa. Ja siinä hän kuvaili myös sen 3. maailmansodan, millainen se tulisi olemaan. Ja se sanoi, että 3. maailmansota tulisi alkaa Israelin sekä islamististen valtioiden välillä. Ja sitten Israeliahan ei ollut olemassakaan tuohon aikaan vielä. Koska siis nämä Illuminaatithan, nämä käytännössä rakensi Israelin. Koska tämä Jacob de Rothschild sanoi sen julkisesti silloin, että hänen sukunsa loi Israelin. Niin se heidän suunnitelma on siis sellainen, että 3. maailmansota tietenkin Lähi-itään tulee keskittymään. Sen tarkoituksena on se, että nykyinen Israeli sionisteina käytännössä ja muslimit ja sionistit tuhoavat toisensa suuressa Armageddonissa. Ja sen suunnitelman tarkoituksena on sen jälkeen luoda uusi maailmanjärjestys. Eli käytännössä lakkauttaa kaikki valtioiden itsemääräämisoikeus koko maailmassa. Luoda niin sanotusti valtiot ilman rajoja. Ja siinä on se suunnitelma, että Israel tulisi johtamaan tätä. Se on tämän uuden maailmanjärjestyksen tarkoitus ja tavoite. Joo, mutta tässä oli tämä striimi tällä kertaa ja painelkaa noin, niin kanavaan saa myös laittaa tilaukseen. Niin